All right, guys, I want to talk real quick about the pre-close. Pre-close is one of the most important things that you can do. If you do not do a proper pre-close, the chances of you closing this deal are slim and none. Okay, the pre-close is critical. All right, so let's talk about the pre-close. When I go in and sit down with somebody and I'm going to do, and I'm ready, well, let me back up. You got three parts of a presentation. Okay, when you go into an appointment, the very first part, that's called your inspection. Okay, that's where you're gathering your information to figure out how to tailor your presentation. So you got the inspection, or what I call investigation, and then you've got the actual presentation itself. All right, but from between the presentation and the close, you have a pre-close. All right, it's a series of questions that's going to verify that you've done your job in the presentation. And doing this right is critically important, because if there's any hesitation on any portion of it, you can address it before you try to ask them for their money. All right, so let's do that real quick. So when I get ready to do a pre-close, I sit Mr. and Mrs. Smith down. I shut the iPad. I've got my folder right there with the money, what it's going to cost just inside, right? I don't open it up and pull it out and start talking money. I take my little sample, I hold it up, I set it by them, and I say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, are you convinced that this product will solve your problem? And I wait for, and when I'm asking that, a lot of times I'm nodding. Are you convinced this is the product that's going to solve your problem? And invariably, if I've done a good job, they say yes. Okay? Now, sometimes I'll say, I hope so. All right? The very next question that I have, all right, let me back up. When I feel that they've given me an affirmative answer, okay, the very next question that I have is, well, does it give you comfort knowing that if it didn't work, you could get all your money back? And invariably, I'm nodding when I'm asking that question, and they're nodding, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So pretty much risk is limited? Yeah. Okay. Now then, if they give me any other answer that's not in the affirmative, all right, I say, well, I'm not sure, how it's going to work out. What you have to do at that point is not move to the next one. You've got to rebuild value in that area. You've missed something. So you got to ask them, well, what is your concern? Well, I just don't know how it's going to hold up with the pine needles. And, we got pine needles and everything. Oh, okay, great. Well, let me share something with you. And you begin to readdress the issue of pine needles. And you show them that screen and you tell them, look, you'd be hard-pressed to push a human hair through here. A pine needle can't get through there. Maybe you show them a video where you've got the house that, Tripp's house. There's a great video on Tripp's house where all the pine needles and everything else, and they look at that and they go, oh, dang, yeah, that works. Okay? What's happened is, in this pre-close, if you've asked that question, you don't get it in the affirmative. You have to go back and rebuild value, and don't go in another step further until they can answer affirmatively, yes, this is the product that will solve my problem. This is the product that I want on my house. Okay? Sometimes when they're not giving something up, you might have to go back and say, well, what other options are you looking at, or what other options are you thinking about? Okay? Because you're going to have to, whatever that is, you're going to have to kill it off before you move to the next step. The key to this, though, is making sure in the presentation you've already covered this stuff. So this is just a quick review, getting some affirmative answers, preparing them to say yes to your price. Okay? So you've talked about the actual product itself. You've got them convinced that, or they've convinced you that this is the only product they'd ever want to put on their house. Fantastic. Next question, you've got to lock in the company. Are you comfortable with our company? I haven't seen your reviews and everything and all the accolades that we've won, the 20 years in business. Are you convinced this company can handle your project? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Great. Okay, fantastic. I haven't pissed you off, have I? Well, no, of course not. No, you've been fantastic. Okay, great. So then you're like every other customer that I see. Literally every customer. They all tell me the same thing. They say, Steve, I love your product. Not only do I love your product, I love your company. I know this will solve my problem. And I love the fact that we've got this lifetime warranty and a no-claw guarantee. We just got to make this affordable. It's all about the money. Is that where we stand today? Well, yeah, yep, it's affordable. That is a buying signal. They want to buy. Now then we're going into the close. All right. Everything we're doing up to that point is pre-close. All right. And then when you transition to the money, that's where we're closing. And how I transition to that is, well, great, because I'm good at making things affordable. And then I'm into that close. All right. So that's just the pre-close in a nutshell. Those things have to be hit. If you'll hit those things, I promise you, your chance of closing goes up radically.